Hi everyone, this is Brian Rowe. Just wanted to show you something that I've been working on lately using lightweight plastic containers and blister packs and things like that to make molds, and then to use plaster to make different buildings, micro scale stuff for Battletech or Cav or Horizon Wars or any kind of small scale stuff like that. A lot of these plastic containers have some cool shapes to them. They're actually almost architectural with the way that they're designed, and basically it's to give strength to them, but they also, again, look like architectural add-ons that you would see in concrete buildings. But they're really too lightweight to use on their own, especially if you're going to be gaming with them. So I fill them up with plaster, and that gives me some basic shapes to play with, and then glue them together with wood glue. I also use cardboard, and a lot of the cardboard that I use is just stuff that you get from packaging, like cereal boxes and stuff, and you'll notice it has a shiny side and then a not shiny side, and I usually glue the shiny side out so that it's a little smoother, but that's just personal preference. And again, I use a PVA glue, like a wood glue or something, to stick it all together. You can get some really cool effects with this, and the one cool thing about it, this stuff, these little sauce containers and blister packs and stuff like that, these things are really cheap, so you don't have to worry necessarily about keeping the mold intact once you start pulling it apart. So for this one, you're not going to play fair, are you? I'm just going to tear this off instead of trying to keep it in one piece, and you can do that too if you have a really cool one that you like, but then it leaves a nice little starting point. And one thing that's kind of interesting, as you can see just from the different companies and the different sauces and stuff, there are different sizes of these containers. They all look very similar. So if you're building a cityscape or something like that, you can get this kind of overall architectural look, but in different sizes, and it's just kind of a cool thing to notice. Something else is with blister packs. Get these guys out of the way here. This building, which is Hanley Small Arms, you can see this is actually made from a Hot Wheels blister pack, and it's got this really cool shape to it, and again, it looks like poured concrete once you cast the piece. And this one was strong enough that I could actually use it again, and intend to. Let's see, we've got, this is Bates Industries, which is another blister pack. You'll also notice this top section here, and this was actually cast from part of an iPhone box. One of my bosses was throwing his old iPhone box away, and I can't let good plastic go to waste. You'll also notice that what I did here is actually drilled 2 holes in the smaller piece, put a piece of Scotch tape over that as I filled it full of plaster, and then when it was dried, I peeled that tape off so that it gave 2 holes that not only helped it to dry from that side, but when I was demolding this, allowed it to demold without snapping that part off. Because that's something that if you have that thin piece there, trying to pry it out, it's just going to break that part off. But by having those little vent holes there, it allowed me to take it out with no problem. So this one, the body for it is actually made from a blister pack from Reaper Miniatures. They have some of the best overall blister packs because they have this kind of cool chamfer on the side here. Excuse me. And it makes some really cool looking buildings, and they're inherently free when you buy Reaper Minis or any other kind of blister pack. This one here, I think this pack was originally a thing of cold medicine or something, like a little blister pack for cold medicine, and it's got some kind of cool texture on it here. It was crushed in on this side, so I just threw a little dark wash over there as if it had been damaged. The top dome here is actually from, I think these are Cadbury cream eggs. My friend Rhonda gave me a bunch of these that she had gotten from her mom that are just these little plastic containers that the cream eggs come in, and they make excellent little domes when you fill them full of plaster. Really cool. These parts here are Hearst Arts building pieces. Again, I had a bunch of these cast in plaster already, and they just make nice little overall shapes. Knocked down my backdrop there. And then the doors and these bits here are cardboard. And I used a paper punch to cut these parts out to make them nice and round. What else? Oh, there's a kind of a little slat shape there on top. This part. And that's from another blister pack. I keep finding these things, and so you can layer different parts to get different effects with them. And then a little homemade decal there. Let's see what else we have here. So, yeah, one thing that you'll notice on these little vent pieces, these are just kind of something I had a really cool accident and realized that you can get these on McDonald's drink lids, and they are the little pop-up buttons that they put on these things so you can tell, that's the tea button apparently. So that way, you know that you have tea. It's very important to know. So I just filled some of this with a thicker plaster, and then took a piece of plastic card and drew over it so that it basically levels it off a little bit, and then pop it out, and it makes this really cool little vent piece. And again, you could use the actual plastic lid part, but that's really thin, and I think it's going to get crushed. I mean, the design idea of that is to crush it with your finger. So instead, cast a bunch of these in plaster, and you can make them over and over again, combine it with something like this. So this building is made of, again, I'm not sure what this blister came from. I don't even remember at this point. I think these are super glue. So there were 3 little super glue bottles in here, 3 of the McDonald's cup vents, and then again cardboard for the doors and windows. Used a smaller paper punch that I have here to make some little round details on the corners, and that's basically it. One of the things to remember is that you want to choose a good plaster to use. You can use regular plaster Paris, the kind of cheap stuff you get at the art store, or you can use really expensive hydrocal. But what I like is good old Durham's rock hard water putty. I know you can get the stuff in the U.S. I don't know if you can get it in the rest of the world, but it is a good mix of light and strong, and it's really cool that you can mix it in different ways. You can mix it into a very thin slurry so that you can kind of paint it on to fill in between details, or you can mix it so that it's a thicker putty so that you can rebuild areas that you need to, or you can mix it where it's almost like a pudding or something to use as casting. And once it's dry, it's actually very tough, relatively lightweight, and it's my overall choice for kind of the perfect plaster that does it all. And once it's dry, it's very strong, very tough stuff. You'll notice on this one, I've actually glued a piece of, again, El Cheapo cardboard on the bottom, and that's just to help keep the edges from chipping or whatever else like that. So this stuff is free. All of these little plastic pieces that I think all of us kind of have this need to collect, whether or not we know what we're going to do with them, but we have tons of these things, and throw some plaster in them, make some buildings. So thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.